I'd like to welcome you to the Board of Commissioners of the Town of Rankin Shores regular meeting. It's Wednesday, October 11th, 2017, 6 p.m. Please rise and pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drum.
Here.
Commissioner Henderson. Commissioner Neal.
Here.
Vice Mayor Capper.
Here.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Attorney Denhart.
Here. First order of business, approval of the minutes for the regular meeting, September 13th, 2017, special meeting, September 21st, 2017, and the special meeting, September 29th, 2017.
Motion to approve the regular meeting September 13th, 2017, special meeting September 21st, 2017, special meeting September 29th, 2017.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drum.
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Neal.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper.
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes. Next, ratification of bills for September and October 2017.
Make a motion that we ratify the bills for September and October of 2017.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drum.
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Neal.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper.
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes. First order of business, well, I think the town is finally getting all picked up. There's still some stuff out there from the storm, but we're working on it, and I think Saturday, FEMA, Friday, sometime FEMA says it'll be back. Ashbrook
Yeah,
will pick it
Thursday or
up some
Friday,
final
they said,
stuff,
yes.
so. It will get done, taking them along. If you read the paper, you know that a lot of the contractors headed south because they got paid a little more money, cubic yards. So that's been the big problem, I think, around here. If you notice around Seminole and so on, there's nothing been picked up a lot of those places. The other thing is I have the fire report. Seminole Fire and Rescue, there was one non-emergency fire response for 8 minutes 31 seconds. There were 8 emergency fire responses at a total time of 6 minutes 47 seconds. There were 6 non-emergency EMS responses at 6 minutes and 15 seconds. There were 18 EMS responses for a time of 6 minutes and 16 seconds. Also, I need, we sold a 1988 Ford diesel front-end loader tractor, sold it for $4,050, and we sold a 6-inch diesel sewer pump for $5,425. This is surplus stuff, so need a motion and a second on that again.
Need a motion to declare those items surplus and to retroactively authorize the sale of them for that and to ratify the sale.
Give me a sheet so I can read it.
Just say so moved.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the sale of the 1988 Ford diesel front-end loader tractor for $4,500. And a 6-inch diesel sewer pump sold for $5,425.
And to declare them surplus.
Declare those as surplus property.
Direct. I'll second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Drum.
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Neal.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper.
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes. Next Saturday is our town picnic, and I am going to request that everybody have a good time at this picnic, and let's forget about the 2 hurricanes or 3, however many we had that too. So let's forget about that and just have a good time Saturday. It starts at 1 o'clock. The 14th, is that?
This Saturday, actually.
Yeah, 14th. With that, that's all I have. Vice Mayor Capper.
Okay, a report on building permits. In August, we had 59 permits, no single-family homes, a total of $8,729.74. A bunch of miscellaneous air conditioners, remodeling, windows, and things like that. September 2017, 39 permits, total of $6,124.39. In regards as to the picnic Saturday, I will not be attending. I've got a funeral up north, so I'm going to have to excuse myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Cap. Commissioner Neal.
Yes, we're going to start relining the sewer. Mr. Andrews and myself have met with the Miller Pipeline, and we're going to start on the southwest side of Gulf Boulevard right here on the beach and work our way north. We're going to go until our money runs out for this year. We're just going to keep on going with it. We're not going to stop. And if we can figure out another way to add some more money to it, we'll keep on going. I think the faster we get this done, the better off we're going to be, because it's not going to get any cheaper. And right now, we got a good deal with Miller, and think we should move forward with it. Other than that, I got an issue and my neighbors in District 2. When we come in on 175th and I see furniture all stacked up and down the road for people to throw away, I don't think that had anything to do with the storm. I think it come from, we pretty much figured out it come from some renters here. What I would like to make clear to people who want to come to Reddington Shores and buy a house and rent it out, we're going to be looking at this. We're not going to let it slide no more. If they don't want to keep their houses up, we're going to start doing something about it. That's all. I'll leave it at that. It's just irritating to drive down the road and see old furniture stacked up that didn't have no business being stacked up out there to start with. And I'm good. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Neal. Commissioner Henderson.
Okay, well, the mayor stole the date and all the things about the picnic almost, but not everything. So this Saturday, 1 to 5, the picnic. We're going to have a huge 70-foot inflatable obstacle course, cotton candy machine, and snow cone machine this year to keep the kids busy while the parents get to visit with their friends and neighbors. Of course, we're going to have raffle prizes from our local businesses, and remember, a valid ID is required to attend the event. Also, mark your calendar for our town-wide garage sales, November 17th and 18th. And I'm sure several of you noticed we lost trees at Spitzer Park during Hurricane Irma. So the Parks and Rec Committee will be meeting in the next couple of weeks to begin planning for the much-needed renovation of the park. Can I talk about the conference we went to? Okay. The mayor and I attended the Florida Shores and Beaches Conference in Fort Lauderdale last month. Needless to say, the timing couldn't have been better considering the visit we had from Irma. We were able actually to have a special meeting with just the beach community officials, and it kind of gave us a better understanding of the beach renourishment project and what is required for us to receive sand. There are maps at Town Hall or by email if you request them, if you are interested in viewing where the sand will be placed for this renourishment. I cannot stress enough how important it is for our entire town, not just the beach people, but our entire town, that the renourishment continues. The only way for that to happen will be the beachfront properties signing those required easements for the Corps of Engineers. I hope everyone was able to take a look at the beach this weekend. Hurricane Nate didn't visit us directly, but he definitely made a statement. We need sand. We just need sand. There was no beach during high tide at all this weekend. People were forced to sit in the dunes. If you did not get a chance to see some of the pictures from it, please feel free to visit the website or our town Facebook page to see, because pictures are worth a million words. That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner Drum.
Okay, the PSTA, they received state and federal grant money here just a few days ago. They got $1 million for low emission and electric buses to start arriving next year, $500,000 for mobility on demand and more frequent service in and out of downtown St. Pete. On emergency management, Irma stats are crazy. 321,053 people were impacted by the mandatory vax. 24,000 people were sheltered. The resident assessment, 77 destroyed, 533 major damage, 5,761 minor, and I got that from Sally Bishop at the Pinellas County EOC. Steve has submitted the RPA, request for public assistance, on October 3rd. Since some municipalities missed the deadline, it's now been extended to November 12th. So good job, Steve. I know that took a lot of time to get the data into the web EOC initial DA board. Gulf Beaches Library holding a book sale November 17th and 18th, the same as the
Garage sale.
garage sale. And that's all I got.
I would like to add, thank you to the commission and the employees for the amazing job everyone did during the evacuation. It was,
Thank you to the whole commission.
And not only to the commission, and we had volunteers. What took about 2 hours, our staff, about 2 hours or 3 hours to completely clean out Town Hall and put it in a truck and move it up to Chapel on the Hill so it would be safe and if that surge was to come in like they were predicting. Commissioner Drum and I think Commissioner Neal was involved in getting some volunteers in here, and what it had taken us about, I think it was about 3 hours, 2 hours and something. They came in and unloaded that truck in 30 minutes, so thanks to them too. And we go on to old business and appointments to the Financial Advisory Committee. I'll handle this. Chris Henderson, I'm going to move you from at-large to District 3. I'm going to appoint Jim Parker, who's not here tonight, but y'all know Jim. And effective on November the 1st, I'm going to move him to at-large. Paul Hertzfield has put in a letter. It looks pretty impressive, actually, Paul. Thank you.
Mostly true, too.
All of it true? I'm going to appoint him as an alternate to the Finance Committee. And with that, I'll need a motion to accept all the moves and all that.
I'll make a motion to accept Jim Parker for at-large position, move Chris Henderson to District 3, and Paul Hartsfeld
Close enough.
to our alternate from this.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second in discussion.
I was really impressed with your
Hearing none,
resume.
Mayor, call the roll.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. And the reason I'm doing Jim Parker on November the 1st is that right now he sits on the planning and zoning, and we've got 2 hearings coming up with planning and zoning. I think that we have everybody there, but I'm not sure. I believe, CJ, you said you would be there. Yep. So that we should be covered on that. But anyway, that's why I moved him to be effective on the 1st, just in case. All right. Second reading and advertised public hearing banning medical marijuana treatment center dispensing facilities. Attorney Denhart.
Ordinance number 17-05, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Reddington Shores, Florida pertaining to medical marijuana, providing findings of fact, banning medical marijuana treatment center dispensing facilities within the corporate limits of the Town of Reddington Shores, Florida, banning all other medical marijuana treatment centers within the corporate limits of the Town of Reddington Shores, Florida, sunsetting Reddington Shores Ordinance number 16-02, which enacted a moratorium pertaining to medical marijuana treatment centers in the Town of Reddington Shores, Florida, providing for the inclusion of such ordinance in the code of the Town of Reddington Shores, Florida, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 17-05.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Dressler?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Next, ordinance 17-06, first reading and advertised public hearing of amending the fence code.
Ordinance number 17-06, an ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Reading Shores, Florida, amending section 9-5 of the land development regulations of the Code of the Town of Reading Shores, Florida, pertaining to construction standards, fences, and landscaping materials, adding a definition for fences, providing for inclusion of such amended ordinance in the Code of the Town of Reading Shores, Florida, providing an effective date.
I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance number 1706.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Dressler?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Moving on, we have some new business. Appeal for the special magistrate's order fence variance request, and Gary here, Gary Ryan.
I want to say good evening because it feels like it's night in here. I just want to thank the board for listening to my appeal from the special magistrate's order. And I've submitted quite a bit of information and data and stuff, and I don't want to overwhelm you with a long talk. I had a prepared statement, which is kind of long. I'm not going to go into that. So I'd just like to kind of summarize where I'm at. My variance requests were to increase the fence height 1 foot to 7 feet, to permit a solid fence rather than a shadow box fence, to permit a fence to extend 7 feet beyond the rear corners of my home, and to permit a solid 6-foot fence to extend to and over the seawall on the north side, and the same extension on the south side, but with a 6-foot open picket style fence. And that was basically my variance request. The reason for my request was primarily to secure our property from criminal and severe nuisance activities that continuously occur from and on the property north at 18217 Gulf Boulevard. Lots of trespass. My Suburban was stolen by a young man who lived on their boat, boyfriend of one of the daughters. The dogs are unsupervised. They're on my property a lot. These activities are listed in detail in my original variance request to the special magistrate, and I know you guys probably have seen that, so hopefully you've had an opportunity to look at it. I know the council's also been made aware of these activities by Karen Chamley and David Draper through their fence variance requests about 2 months ago. With the first floor of the north resident about 4 feet above grade, they're basically looking down into my property. So a 6-foot fence is basically almost totally neutralized. So I'm asking just for 1 extra foot to help kind of set that aside, if you will. The fence will also block trespass to the side and rear of our property. The rear fence extension variance is to provide privacy as stated, and the 6-foot foliage fence extension to and over the seawall was to prevent the dogs from jumping off of the jacuzzi, which is right up against my property line, onto my property. On 2-3 different occasions, I've been confronted with a growling and snarling dog. The other thing is, reason for the solid fence request is because the dog sticks his nose through the fence that's currently there now. And I have a young golden retriever And on several occasions, he likes to play. He's a playful dog. And this dog almost climbs through that fence after him, trying to snap at him. The reason for my request on the south side is that they have tenants 7 to 10 months out of the year. My backyard is only 15 feet deep. Their deck is about a foot, foot and a half above grade. So I have tenants or strangers looking down into my backyard, and I don't have a lot of space. So it's hard to find any privacy when they're there. I'm going to amend my variance request. I spoke with Mr. Drum last week, and with the storm that came by, I'm going to pull my request for a solid fence and will accept a shadow box. But in doing so, I'd like to be able to tighten the closure as much as I can, which will still allow airflow through the fence. And I want to withdraw the solid fence request on the north side for the snarling dog, but I'd like to be able to put up a picket fence where the pickets are only about 2 inches apart, so he can't get his snout through there. And that's basically where I'm at today, and I'd like for you all to consider my thoughts and my situation. It's just primarily about safety and tranquility at our home. I think the board may be aware of the activities up there. It's just incredible. If you have any questions, I'll certainly be happy to entertain them.
Start with you.
Okay, I think the shadow box on the north end is a good idea, just by seeing all the fences that have been down the vinyl that's been around town. So just to be clear, you're still gonna go 7 feet tall, 7 feet past the corner of the house on the water side.
At the rear, yes.
Yep, and then you're gonna go picket from there to the seawall,
To the seawall, yes.
which would be 75% airflow, correct, Steve?
70.
70%. And the shadow box would be 45%?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so actually on that side, what you're only asking for variance is another foot taller, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And the shadow box will be on the south side too. I kind of like to keep things kind of balanced for
Okay.
symmetry purposes.
Now, on the south side, you still want to go 7 feet tall there?
Yes, I do. I have no privacy whatsoever if I don't have something there.
And on the front, and you're going to go 7 foot past the corner of the house,
Correct,
and then it's going to be picket from there
correct,
to the seawall? Okay.
yes.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Henderson?
Okay, so I understand the north side. I don't understand the south side at all. We all live on very, very small pieces of property. I live next to a beach access, so everybody's looking at me all day long in the pool. I get that. But I don't think that that's a reasonable request. That would definitely be granting you something that nobody else gets to have. I understand the one side, because you have definitely problems, but I live in the CTF district, I have nightly rentals. So you don't have a whole lot of sympathy with that for me, but,
Okay.
I mean, I understand, but not.
I mean, I have tenants over there who I don't even know, and they're less than 10 feet away.
I've
I
got
have
closer.
zero privacy.
We have small lots, all of us.
Okay.
Commissioner Neal?
I have no questions.
The question I have, we approved theirs for what, 6 foot?
8.
8 foot? And you want 7,
7, yes,
and you'll go with the shadow box?
yes.
I have the same thing, I have no problem with the north side, I have a problem with the south side.
I feel the same way. I mean, we're trying to take care of a problem, which is on your north side.
Yes,
And that's where our concentration is on the north
I
side.
understand.
And my feeling is that it should be shadow box, 7 foot's fine, and, but it's stated code on the south side.
I understand, it's just, I feel like I'm on stage when I'm back there.
Well, I think.
I've got perfect strangers looking right down on me.
I,
Well, I mean, we're only talking 1 foot.
But I can suggest.
well, that's exactly it. You're only talking 1 foot, so.
I know, but then 1 foot is a big
Variances
foot.
are for really, really hardship cases, and I don't know, I just don't see a hardship here. I think we all have the same.
That's why it's.
Well,
Environment.
it's my home and I've been kind of invaded by strangers.
Let me make a suggestion.
Yes.
I don't know whether you've read the fence ordinance that we just did the first reading on.
No, sir, I have not. I wasn't even aware that you were changing.
I would suggest that at the next meeting, with the second reading on the fence ordinance,
Mhm.
I would suggest shrubbery. Then you're not facing them.
I've had shrubbery there, but I had to take it out because the fence went right down the center where they were. And I have a backyard that apparently, when they fill it, it's full of concrete, all kinds of strange fill. I can't get anything to grow over there.
Well, you could try pots maybe,
Excuse me?
pots, big pots.
It just doesn't lend itself to that. I mean, I'm trying to keep some symmetry to the property, so when you look at it, you see the same on both sides.
I doubt people would notice a foot, really, but.
So what I'm understanding is we'll go 7 foot, 45%, 6 foot, 70%. Is that what you understand there, Steve?
Well,
Yeah,
from what you guys are talking about, on the north side of the property.
right, okay. All right, entertain the motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 7-foot shadow box fence on the north side.
And the 6 foot,
The what?
about the 6 foot end of it.
I'm a little confused. I thought the 7 foot was the whole thing.
6 foot from here,
Oh, yeah, plus the 6 foot out to the seawall.
70%.
Yeah, 70%. Sorry.
And that's the only thing we approved, the rest stays with code.
That's just on the north side, right?
Right.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Dryer?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next, ratify seawall replacement repair.
Number 2.
Who's got this one? Who's been working?
I don't think anybody. I'll make a motion on it to approve,
Oh, we got, okay.
I'll make a motion on it to approve seawall services for $5,300.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
This is actually to ratify. We
Ratify.
had to do this in an emergency.
Right.
And Seawall Services did do it for $5,100.
Right.
So ratify.
So it's just to ratify.
Right.
Okay.
Who's second?
Commissioner Neal?
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Dryer?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yeah. Next, approve of our 5-year capital improvement plan.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the capital improvement, 5-year capital improvement plan.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Dryer?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Resolution 10-7, updating comprehensive plan capital improvement element schedule.
Resolution number 10-17. A A resolution of the County Commission of the Town of Reading Shores, Florida, reviewing the annual amendments to the town's capital improvement element schedule of projects and approving and adopting of the same, providing an effective date.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 10-17.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary call the roll.
Commissioner Drum?
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Neal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Capper?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. All right, Mr. Henderson.
Evening. Mayor Adams, Vice Mayor Capper, Town Commissioners. Chris Henderson here. I serve as now the chairman for the Financial Advisory Committee here for the town of Reading and Shores, and just thought I would provide a quick update. Last time I did this was in February, and so as we're coming close to the end of our fiscal year, I thought I'd give an update on revenues, expenses for each one of the town funds. As you guys may recall, last month's meeting, we had our outside auditor who came by and gave us an update on the CAFR, which was for the period through September of 2016. So about a year-old information. So our hope is, through the Financial Advisory Committee, is to begin providing more relevant, updated information on a timely basis so that folks can make decisions based upon the current financial position of the town as well as our revenues and expenses. So real quickly, we'll go through the general fund is the first one, probably the most significant one that we talk about. As you guys know, ad valorem taxes represent the most significant piece of our general fund revenues, and so about half of our total collections come in the form of ad valorem taxes. So about $1.1 million we've brought in through August 31st. Which puts us about $15,000 higher than what we budgeted for fiscal year 2017. And so with our general fund expenses running behind what we budgeted, it provides pretty clear evidence that the reduction that we made in the millage rate a year ago was the right decision. Duke Energy franchise fee, this is one of the things we haven't talked about in the past, but it's important for us to keep focused on. It's the, if you look at your Duke Energy bill, there's a little thing that I really never noticed before, but there's a 7.2% or 7.179% excise or franchise fee that's billed to every resident here based upon your electric utilization. And so, so far through fiscal year 2017, we're at about $197,000 that the town has received through that Duke Energy franchise fee, which our budget was about $215,000, so we'll end up being a little short of that. It's one of the things we probably want to take a look at as we look at some of the opportunities for revenue shortfalls. But the variance that we experience on ad valorem, the positive variance, is going to be offset by that Duke Energy. So it's one of the things to take a look at. I'm not sure if our residents are being more efficient with their electric utilization or whether rates have come down a little bit, but that's really one of the only negative surprises. But it's only about $15,000 shortfall. Building permits, we talk about that each and every month. We budgeted to be down about $40,000 in this current fiscal year from last year, and we're only down about $15,000 year over year, so positive variance we should see there. And then the other interesting thing that we've not talked about before, but it's a pretty significant change for the town, is during the third quarter of this current fiscal year, we transferred about $5 million from what was regular savings over to the two of these Florida State Board of Administration prime accounts, which the current yield on it is an impressive 1.35%. So as a result, we should end this current fiscal year about $13,000 ahead of our budgeted interest income, which is another good thing on the revenue side. And so you take those investments that we put into the SBA prime account plus the current CDs that we have and the cash that we have in the bank, and we're at about $10.6 million through the end of August in cash and investments for the town. And then as you take a look at the rest of the general fund revenue, all of those accounts, for the most part, all the significant ones are ahead of our budget for fiscal year 2017. On the expense side, as I said, most of our general fund expenses have been lower than what we budgeted, which is a good thing. And probably more importantly, we're lower than we were last year. So oftentimes you run into the situation where government organizations will budget in a conservative manner and then pat themselves on the back for being below their budgeted expenses. But actually, as you take a look through, we're actually lower year over year, which is usually a pretty good indication of efficiency in a government organization. So good news there. Emergency management, surprisingly, we're through August, we're below our budget. So I know with Hurricane Irma, there's a lot of people talking about emergency management, but it's also important to understand that over the last 3 fiscal years, we've budgeted about $150,000 that budget, which was the basis for establishing our ad valorem millage rate, we've only spent $35,000. So just if you take a look over the course of the last 4 years, we're about $120,000 positive. So before everybody gets all alarmed about how much we may have to spend relating to Hurricane Irma, again, if you take a look at a longer range perspective, it isn't as bad as it would seem. And then all other general fund, significant general fund expenses, salaries, benefits, police, fire, library, garbage services, all of those are below what we have budgeted and in line with what we had planned for fiscal year 2017. Capital Improvement Fund. We didn't talk about it tonight. I thought it was going to be one of the headlines from tonight's meeting, but as many of you know, we've got a referendum coming up on November 7th for Penny for Pinellas. And so that has a direct impact on the town of Bredington Shores. And so that 1 cent sales tax during the first 11 months of the current fiscal year has brought in about $191,000 to the town. Okay, and so if you take a look at a 10-year period, and you can get a lot of this information off Pinellas County's website, the town of Bredington Shores was set to benefit about $2 million in contributions through that 1 cent sales tax. And so that is one more reason why it's critically important for the residents and everybody listening to me, go out and make sure that you vote to approve that. It doesn't have a direct impact next fiscal year. It's actually 2020 that goes into effect, but it's a 10-year period. But if approved, that will have the impact of about $2 million, maybe even in excess of $2 million directly going into the coffers of the town of Bredington Shores, which can be used as one of the specific purposes for sewers and infrastructure. That's what the Penny for Pinellas is really dedicated for. And so if you take a look at that 20-year period, 10 years in the past, 10 years in the future, you're talking about $4 million to the town of Bredington Shores for the specific purpose of infrastructure, investments in the sewer. That's above and beyond what we have available to us in the sewer fund reserves and cash. Stormwater user fee, another one we haven't talked about, but it's important to remember, we get $3 per resident every 2 months. It's billed by Pinellas County, comes in, we're tracking right in line with that. About $40,000 we'll receive from our residents for that, for stormwater. That's billed by Pinellas County Water. And then LDU revenues, which is the land development units, primarily tied to construction. We're ahead of our budget, about $34,000 we've collected. Capital improvement expenses, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. We're doing better than we budgeted for almost every category. Parks and Rec, engineering fees, all those things. We're spending less, almost half what we budgeted for, so a positive sign. And then debt service. We made our first semi-annual payment in May for the current calendar year. Excuse me. So that should bring us to about $2.2 million. For those of you who are keeping track, $2.2 million is the note that we have for the town of Bredington Shores. That puts us 8 years, 2 months, 2 weeks, 3 days, and 17 hours before we have that paid off. For those of you who are tracking that. Yeah, 17.
How many seconds?
All right. Last but not least, sewer fund. So through August 31st, the good news is our collections have been about $750,000, which is in line with our budget. I think our budget was about $751 through the first 11 months of the current fiscal year. Our treatment expenses about $527 budgeted. We've spent about $506, so positive variance. And then repairs and maintenance, machinery and equipment, major repairs, all below our budget amount for the first 11 months of the year. So, just overall, good result, good outcome for the first 11 months of the year. For those of you who have been keeping track of the CAFR, I should add some water. We've ended the last few years with a positive contribution, about 400 to 450. We're on track to have a very similar year, so it's a good result. Again, the town continues to perform at or above expectation, managing costs, and so another good report. So unless there's any other questions?
The mail-in ballots are out for the Penny for Pinellas. I went to mail today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson.
Oh, you got claps.
Is that clap for him or for us?
Sure. It's for the mail-in ballots.
Attorney Dunhart has requested to speak.
Well, I just wanted to kind of formally advise you what I think I sent a memo on a week ago or so about the La Vistana lots. That's been a kind of long, much more difficult battle than we had thought of back 2.5 years ago, whenever we were doing the development agreement, but, as you know, we wrote into the development agreement that the town would receive the 2 lots in front of the La Vistana, the easement and the shower easement, and that has now been done. The deeds have been transferred to the town, and you all now have those. There was some talk a few months ago, La Vistana 1 said, wait a minute, we want to see some restrictions on that so that they have to always be used for parks. We intentionally had not put that in the agreement. That's not in the agreement. I know you all plan to use them for a park, I think, and I certainly would agree and concur with that, but I want to make sure you know that you don't have to in the future if for any reason you want to sell them off or do something else with the lots or have a little parking lot for the easement or whatever. Those things are all possible. You're not restricted. The town, of course, got the $50,000, and the other really big bonus that I want to make sure all of you are aware of is La Vistana 2 had originally was going to be 14 units. They downsized it, and instead of having 2 units per floor times 7, they did 1 unit. That left 7 developmental rights, and at the same time, that development agreement told them they could have 7 units. Those 2 lots were spun off to the town, so from a legal standpoint, in addition to the 2 lots, you probably acquired 7 developmental rights that may be of very substantial value at some time in the future. They, of course, if you ever sold them or transferred them, it would have to be pursuant to your transfer of developmental rights ordinance. But, you know, if the developmental right is worth $30,000, $50,000, that's $210,000 to $350,000. So I just want to make sure, you know, in case I'm not here in a few years and somebody wants to transfer those or whatever, I just want to make sure you're aware that you've got those along with the lot. So I'm happy it's over. Happy, I'll tell Lauren, she's aware of it. Actually, I did a memo and told Mary to staple it to the
We have it all over
to the
place.
survey. So I think it's a very nice easement. I walked it again tonight, and I'm proud that the town got it.
Me too. Thank you for your work in doing this. I know it's been a long time coming.
It was much longer
Thank
than
you,
we
Lon.
planned on.
Yeah.
We should clap for him too.
How about that? Denmark Park?
But you do need to clean up, that little shower area down at the end. It's kind of overrun with sandspurs.
And, you know, Sandsburg is native to the.
I know. They didn't make it to my house, right?
They hurt, though.
All right, any public comments? Hearing none, the next workshop meeting is Wednesday, October 25th, 2017, 6 p.m. Regular meeting Wednesday, November 8th, 2017, 6 p.m. With that, this meeting is adjourned.